All Airstreams leak.
That's what I learned on the forums today. That made me feel a lot better.
Yeah, we've had a small leak and then another leak.
The time has come where we're going to tackle trying to reseal the Airstream. So we had to splurge, get a covered storage site, and here we are.
Why are you shirtless?
It's hot out here, so you're gonna have to excuse the shirtless appearance. That's gonna be the look for this video.
Can I go shirtless?
Sure. These are the various tools that we've got to remove the sealant. We've got razor blades to start the cut, these cool little plastic blades to scrape it all up, gloves for the mineral spirits, which are in the truck still. Got my caulk gun, and we've got all kinds of sealants. What Airstream recommends for anything that's on a curved surface is the Sikaflex or Sikaflex, however you want to say it, 221. And there's different colors of this. We have the gray right here. And then on level surfaces like around fans and sewer vent stacks and AC units, we have the self-leveling Dicor. Shop rags to clean up the mess, and trash can for all the old sealant.
How do I get this out?
I don't know, I think it's child-proof.
So like, did it. Only like 5 more feet of this to go.
So right now I'm working on the sewer vent cap. So this is what vents the black tank to let odors out and so it doesn't build up pressure. 30 minutes later, I've gotten all of the sealant off of that one vent stack.
I've got about 2.5, 3 feet. It's not done yet. This is what I'm doing. And my thumbs are really sore. And I've only done one seam, so this is a big project.
So another area we were having a little bit of issues with was the exhaust fans in the shower, especially, and then also a little bit in the bathroom. There's a gasket that's underneath the penetration into the roof, and the screws all around the perimeter of that fan housing are actually a little bit loose, which tells me that that gasket is sort of compressed over time, and it's not doing what it's supposed to do. So I tightened up those screws, and then for good measure, I'm also gonna put a little bead of Sikaflex around that, and hopefully that'll stop any water from seeping its way in there and collecting inside the fan. We've been watching this thunderstorm slowly surround us. So the last thing we want is for the Airstream to get wet. For one thing, because we have seals that no longer exist. And also, once that surface gets wet, we can't lay down the sealant. I'm gonna grab a tarp, and if the rain does come, we're gonna sit up there and just keep it dry. We are under like a partial cover, but it's pretty windy, so the rain would still get onto the Airstream. We nixed the idea of a tarp at the last minute and decided to pull across the way under a cover that it's both longer and more central than the one that we were under, right over there. So it's still pouring rain. I ran over to our site because I want to show you this. Check out how almost our entire parking slot is wet. Put in about 6 hours today, and it's kind of crazy how little we got done. But the good news is we've got a bunch of seams ready to go tomorrow. We just have to prep them, clean them up with mineral spirits. We got a few more feet on the seam on the back to get up as well, but we're making progress. Day 2, and Victoria's still up there working on one of the seals, but I'm gonna start prepping everything to put down the new sealant. That starts with mineral spirits and a rag, and just make sure the surface is completely clean so that the new sealant can bond to it effectively. I put this painter's tape down, and then shortly after putting down the Sikaflex, I can pull up the painter's tape, leaving a nice clean line behind. In theory, at least. We'll see how that actually plays out. So what I'm finding works pretty well is I first lay down the sealant in several strips, and then I kind of roughly smooth it out with my gloved finger. And then what I read online is mineral spirits are great because they don't inhibit the curing of the Sikaflex. So I dip my gloved finger in some mineral spirits and then do the final smoothing of the Sikaflex. And that kind of acts like water on your fingers if you're working with clay. It really helps create a nice smooth surface that doesn't have holes or any irregularities in it. And once I've got it all smoothed out, I immediately go and peel back the tape up to the point where I've finished that section. And as you can see, the tape is definitely a good call. Otherwise there would be a huge mess of sealant up here and it would look terrible. So definitely go for the painter's tape. I'm wrapping up day 3 of sealing up the Airstream. So today I got the rear end cap done, both the front and rear awnings. I put a new seal over there, and I also put a little bit of Sikaflex around our clearance lights because those gaskets are getting a little bit brittle and that could be one possible source of a leak. I will say this was a much harder job than expected. We started this planning to do the entire roof, but we quickly realized that was probably not realistic given the time that we have. It is super time consuming scraping up all the old sealant, and then on top of that it just takes time to get down a nice bead of sealant and make it really clean, make sure it's sealed everywhere. So when it comes time to do the rest of the roof, we just might pay somebody to do that. Hopefully everything I've done will have addressed the leaks that we're seeing. There's a lot of rain in the forecast up in Colorado, so it's going to be a good test. We'll have some great news. We've had several really hard rainstorms since we did the reseal, and so far no leaks. So I can't really say what it was that fixed the problem, but between the clearance lights, resealing above the awning, and doing the seal on each of the end caps, we seem to have fixed the problem. Also, just doing a thin bead of Sikaflex around each of those 2 exhaust fans fixed the problem where we were having some water end up inside, kind of on the screen of that exhaust fan. So I'm really happy we were able to fix that without having to get back up on the roof and try to pull up more old sealant and put new stuff down. That is a huge job, and I'm really glad to be done with it for now.
It's hard work sealing the trailer. You need energy. Do you like pickle juice?
No, I don't like pickle juice.
Replenishes you.
No.
It's like coconut water. It's like poor man's coconut water.